This is the Last Judgment, painted by Michelangelo, the famous Renaissance artist of the 16th century. What if I were to tell you that Michelangelo was raised in the same family as two popes who were famous in history? Well, it's true. According to Films Media Group, the Magnificent Medici, Michelangelo was raised with Pope Clement VII. And Pope Clement VII commissions this work. But I think I'll show you later that Michelangelo was not that thrilled about doing this painting. It was finished October 31st, 1541. The setting is in the Sistine Chapel. According to Bernardine Barnes, this is where the conclave picks the Pope. And also, Barnes talks about how Michelangelo has painted here before, and that painting being the creation of David. It's behind the altar wall, and it was a time of major change in the Catholic Church. The KhanAcademy.org video says it's about 20 years since the Protestant Revolution. Pope Clement VII actually dies in 1534. And then Pope Paul III takes over. Eugene Muntz describes how Pope Paul III comes to Michelangelo and says that he wants them to complete the work and the resurrection will be a great idea. This is the painting. It's a fresco. It's roughly 45 feet by 40 feet. It sits behind the altar of the Sistine Chapel Church. And Michelangelo here has painted a massive and wonderful painting. You have elements of heaven, earth, the blessed, and the damned. If you split this up, you can see horizontally, the horizontal line will separate heaven from hell. On Christ, Christ centers the painting. And on Christ's right hand side, you will see the blessed. And they're rising out of their graves, and they are ascending to heaven as the final judgment. And on Christ's left-hand side, you have the damned, and they are actually falling to hell, and he is passing judgment upon them. He is looking left, he's passing judgment upon them. The bodies of this painting are all mostly nude paintings, or mostly nude bodies. I believe that he is equalizing everyone on Judgment Day. And I believe also the way he paints the bodies, very bulky, heavy, really tells, and they're also kind of, in my opinion, ugly. And I believe this is kind of the sign of the times of what's going on. Here's Christ, according to Eugene Muntz. He looks thoroughly agitated. And I think Christ also looks that way. And to me, he's also pointing at his, Eugene Muntz also says he's pointing at his mark there, almost as if to indicate that he is the truth. And of course, you can see Jesus showing all the other signs of the resurrection, of his crucifixion, with the holes in his feet. Christ is not bearded. Mary, on the other hand, is looking away. It seems to be that she's recoiled and she can no longer intercede, which the Khan Academy video would also say. Interesting enough, you have saints that are shown around surrounding Jesus. Some of the saints that you can see, St. Bartholomew holding a skin and a knife of Christ. If you look at Christ's lower left, he's looking at Jesus. I'll come back to that in a minute. You also have St. Catherine with a broken wheel. St. Catherine, according to Sarah Gom in her book, saints are always drawn with symbols of their martyrdom. And here you see her holding a wheel that was used to torture her, and is broken because she actually broke the wheel, which was, many people believe it was a miracle. So that is interesting. You have St. Peter directly left of Jesus. St. Peter is looking at Jesus, holding a key. That would be, what Peter is holding, the key to heaven, and obviously a huge saint in the Catholic Church. And then you have the damned. If you look at the damned at the very bottom of this slide that I have, there's the damned man. The damned man is being pulled down by a demon on his bottom feet, a couple demons actually, and he's holding his eyes. He cannot believe what's getting ready to happen. And I'll put the quote on there from Eugene Muntz. It says, "Throughout the work there is only anguish and terror, not a whit of serenity." I tend to believe that is exactly what's going on here. A lot of terror. Of course, Judgment Day would be like that. But also, I think it's a sign of kind of what had been going on in the Catholic Church, and after the Reformation and just the sack of Rome. Michelangelo is older. So St. Bartholomew here. Obviously, Jesus is coming to judge the world, and this whole painting is about that. Michelangelo is painting a bleak scene here. No one looks really happy in this scene. But the most interesting thing to me is what the Khan Academy says about his skin. And actually, a lot of my other sources also say this. But that is a self-portrait. And St. Bartholomew's skin, that's a self-portrait of Michelangelo. And to me, that really says he's conflicted about his own faith. And in the video you'll watch, they describe how he can draw a diagonal line from the cross all the way through his skin, through Jesus, through his skin, into hell. Very telling there. Critics, on the positive side, many critics will look at this and obviously say it's beautiful. The colors and just the detail, the sheer detail that he can draw of these characters that are in the painting. There's a lot of flesh there, and as I'll talk about in a minute, it's also kind of one of the negatives. Here's some quotes that I've listed in here. The church, because of these quotes I've listed, the church, you can tell, greatly appreciated it. One reverend here says in the top quote that he would have Michelangelo paint anything for him and glad to do it. Obviously, Michelangelo was very good at what he does, and it was a very beautiful painting. And then the second quote I have there is they're talking about how, if you're going to have someone replicate it, let's have someone that's going to take much care of it. So they use a friend of theirs, and that is Bernardine Barnes. Can be credited for listing those quotes. Under the critical review, on the negative side, nudes were a big problem. They being the Catholic Church, did not like all of the nudes in that painting. I put the quote here from Bernardine Barnes, and there's many others you can find where the church was just not happy with so many nudes. They were afraid that people wouldn't understand what they're doing. The people that were illiterate wouldn't understand what's going on. And Eugene Muntz also says that some of the ways that the people move, the saints move and act, they afraid the illiterate weren't going to understand. And of course, nudes being a problem because of lust and because of the naked body. So in conclusion, I believe it's a beautiful painting. I chose it because it shows a Christian theme. And I think those are always interesting to open up the past. And that's exactly what this painting did for me, is open up the past of the Reformation, what was going on at the time in the church. It's a dramatic scene. Demons are, pulling the dam down. You have angels beating the damned into heaven because they're trying to crawl out of there. And you have these angels rising, helping these people up to heaven, and they're just a very powerful statement. The painting is enduring because I believe it would last quite a while. And it displays overall just the pessimism that is set in Michelangelo's case about the world after the Reformation, after thousands of people were killed in Rome shortly before this, and also he is older and I think a little more cynical. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.